It's just like the enemy. Yes. And we're back live with the Passing Show on Harrowings, live with Hal Gill, your host. Just going up the sidewalk, stepping off from the porch and out into the world. Don't know which way I'm going to go first. Might walk over by my friend Ty's shop. Why not? Could. And just have to go up through Adams Morgan. That's always entertaining. Had a pretty good lunch. After walking this morning quite a bit. Got a few chores to do. But first, this loop, step at a time. Get partway across. So I hang the rest of the way across. A lot of trucks, a lot of construction going on. There's another one. It's one of the great things about living in the bunker back here. Taking in the passing show just by stepping outside. A lot of energy flowing, as it does. Everything is flow. Everything is fluid. Everything is moving one place to another. Everything is becoming its opposite. High becomes low. Day becomes night. And vice versa. And we together can make this world a better place for our descendants, not ourselves. They can be good ancestors. So that's been part of my theme lately. As I walk and talk through the experience of being alive here and now. Take you along for the ride. Garda being Cat and listening to Hina, Adam Lee Pond. Good to have you joining us this afternoon. My post-lunch constitutional. I'm watching a little bit of Bootleg TV 2000, King Crimson, as I digested my lunch. So far as I have. Got to work the rest of it through my system. Had a couple of good pieces of Danish rye bread with Finnish butter on them. I'm thinking about that, thinking about what that means for the world economy. We're all part of it, all playing our roles. Every cent spent is a vote. The kind of world we are co-creating. Probably unwisely bought a few things today. Have to look at that, my behaviors. Is what it is. We are who we are.
Left, right to the end of the slot, then turn left and go straight. Whoa, dude, wait a minute. Yeah, so we're gonna go right.
I get to cross here at 14th Street. Keep myself in motion. Looking back up Florida Avenue. That way. Onward. Everything's in process. Everything is in flow. Things come into me, things go out of me. Never more than a couple of minutes from expiration. I don't continue to breathe. So I do continue to breathe. Looking down T Street here, a Ford from Virginia, and on. Choices people have made, what kind of vehicles they decided to buy, kind of things they're funding, what manufacturing they're supporting. Something to think about. I'm going to cross here too, because zigzagging makes me a harder target. I'm not that paranoid, but doesn't mean it's not true. So what else do I want to talk about here? Doesn't seem like anybody else has anything to say yet on the comments. Laurie Woodfill's joined. Thank you. I always appreciate anybody looking in on the passing show. 1909 on 19th Street. Not far from the U Street intersection of Florida. We're not going that way. And maybe on up. I haven't visited my friend Ty's shop in a long time. So I might float by, see if he's actually in office today. It's a Wednesday. Then back to the bunker for a short time, at least, until I have to pick up my wife. And later this afternoon, we're going to have Jen Coyne on Harrowing's podcast. Talk a little bit maybe about the event tomorrow. I thought it was today, but it's tomorrow. Like there'll be a fundraiser for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention at U in 1945 on U Street, 14th Street. Jenny's Ice Cream. I don't think it's her ice cream, but it's a common name. This is Mary J's. You can see a lot of our area here is a little more decrepit for some reason. But it's all good. There's a little barber shop here called Manifest. Pretty cool little spot. There it is. Barber shop. Barber on duty, it looks like. A couple of them. Hopefully they're manifesting their best life. As I hope we all are. And reason. Love the architecture. This old apartment building across the way with cell phone repair. I've had my cell phone repaired there before. Did pretty good work. Master of Public Policy. There. What else have we got? Oh, spraying down. Tramp through the water. It's been flowing out. Spraying down the pavement outside of Lucky Buns. Her diner next door. Now serving sex life, healing something, nature, art, serenity, spirit, world pride. DC 2025. A kick room. Rotisserie chicken. Wilson's Barbershop. Chatro's Dining Saloon across the way. A former Alfresco. Closed up pretty rapidly after a lot of construction was done to make it It's a nice piece of property. Somebody could make a go of it. Oh, uphill. That's the important thing, is to keep moving. Keep documenting. Passing show as it goes. Get a little of who, what, when, and where on this wonderful day of August 6, 2025, 80 years to the day after the bombing of Hiroshima. First use of atomic weapons against the civilian population. And some military targets too, but still mostly civilians. Or that should still resonate years later. It's only 80 years later that we did this. It's pretty significant amount of damage done by about a kilogram of uranium-235 being converted to energy. "15 kilotons, equivalent to the explosion of 15,000 tons of TNT. That'd be 30 million pounds. Large chess game going on. We're the survivors of all that. We bear scars. We bear responsibility. Some levels. Decisions were made. And that's true of everything. We are the sum total of the decisions we've made, so the actions we've carried out. So keep that in mind as you're moving from dawn to dusk and back again in the ceaseless flow from I to otherwise. Never ends. Everyone you see is another iteration of the pattern. Another effort in the greater scheme of things. To refine our practice, become better than we were yesterday. The eternal progress of the human race, huh? As technologies we use to sustain us more efficiently, more effectively. That was really my motto during my career. Efficiency and effectiveness. What I was taught when I first joined up forces with the United States Air Force, their Office of Business Capabilities and Agile Combat Support. BCACS for short. Had the idea of agility, responsiveness, being able to take a need identified out in the field, translate it into semantically enabled web services that be able to deliver functionality at a fraction of the time it took to acquire the large enterprise resource planning systems that were generally being designed in that day and age. Had a new vision, a new way forward. And with the help of industry, I'm realizing it. Pace of change is ever accelerating. You got to keep up. It's hard to keep up when you're ossified in tradition, as many people were and are. And I tell you, things are moving fast, ever faster. What else do I want to tell you all today? Just want to take in the passing show. The retail businesses that line 18th Street, the Adams Morgan neighborhood. Music is our language. Art, music, literature, all part and parcel of this place, including me. I've been a piece of the scenery more times than I can count. Genuinely just passing through at speed, very rarely slowing down. Look around. Tell you one thing I'm finding. It's humid out here. Not too hot, but humid. Close. Therefore, making my way to the shower as soon as I get done with this walk. It's about 3 miles, the whole loop. But it's healthy to get out and walk after eating lunch. Take that protein, ingest it, use something with it. The body's wisdom or its magic. Knows what I need to do. Knows what I need to do to keep doing it. Listen to the wisdom of the body. As we all are carried in this animal shell while we are incarnate.
You wait for me.
I don't know that I've ever seen mind without body. The body without mind, I think it's quite possible.
Starts up there. So exciting.
Here we have the Lost City books. There it is. Speculative fiction, poetry, early medieval art. Gustave Flaubert. Not going in there. %. This is Delight Cafe and Bakery. They've had their challenges. So my turn is here by the McDonald's. Way across in front of the Line Hotel just down the block. 20. Yeah. You can see. Oh, God. All these faces I'm passing have a story in them. Some of them look familiar. As much as I walk around, it's not surprising. There's the Line Hotel. So good vibes. Jonathan Ferber Moore. And then this has some art exhibit going on. Oh, that's closed. What is his hours now? 4 to 7 Monday through the 3 hours. Thought he said it was going to be open longer. That's okay. That's all right. Go across here. Now blocked off this little stretch of road. We'll head back down. Always something going on. A pigeon fly. It's a busy intersection. Columbia Road and Adams Mill. Come into 18th Street. A couple of choices here. I could go across the bridge, just closer to the park. We're going to just continue down Columbia, which might be a better idea. Not to overtax myself. Then again, it's nice to go that way. It's counting down. Get a crossing here soon. Yep. 42. It's a good time to step off. Look at Adams Morgan's postings here. See what's going on. Motorcycles. Jazz and Freedom Festival. Apple Festival. Orange Fest coming back on November 1st. I don't know. It's not, seems to me that might be a good idea. I need to be checked out. I think there's one medical group still up here. And they've been bought by Amazon. But I like my concierge service, I tell you what. If I have health issues, I can go right in there and get them fixed up. I don't know it's ever really profited me that much, but then again, my health is pretty good. Keep on. Watch out for passing scooters. Riders. This is a good way to go. Kind of like Compass Coffee. One medical group, members get more. I should check my app sometime. Give it some information about my health. Enjoy logging my sweet green salads on that, which are pretty healthy. Although I tend to get the caramelized garlic steak. That's probably not the best thing for the environment. I should work on being a better ancestor. We should all work on being better ancestors for our many descendants, whatever stripe. Because there are many descendants, whether we had them ourselves or not. When I arrived here, there were about 3 billion on the planet. That's gone up to about 8 billion now. Change. And a whole bunch of the 3 billion who were here when I arrived left, including Aldous Huxley, C.S. Lewis, and John F. Kennedy, all on the same day. November 22nd, 1963, I was amplifying Huxley's signal through the noise earlier. I was impressed by his humility as he was being interviewed about being a great novelist. And he thought, I just thought I was maybe adequate, but not great. It is what it is. We are who we are. We get what we get. Do what we always did. We'll get what we always got. So that means we have to change if we want change. And that's to start with us. In my case, I'm walking, talking, I'm exposing myself to the universe, so to speak, in unvarnished form, willing enough to tell you all just what a fool I've been, and just what a fool I might still be. But that's up to history to determine whether this was a useful exercise or not. But it's primary documentation. And I think a lot in terms of my own father's experience working with primary documents out of the 18th century, merchants' records, account books of a business, wills and inventories, court records. People were sued. What happened? What decisions were made? Who made them? You can sort of piece together these people's lives through the records, through the primary documents that they leave behind. And we're leaving them too. We're leaving them at scads. Oh my gosh. This could be used against me in a court of law, probably. Anything I can and will say can be used against me. Can also be used for me as an alibi. Anything happened to my wife right now, wherever she is, it wouldn't be by my hand, although it might be from neglect. If I was to have done something for her that I don't know about right now. But at the moment, I think I've been a pretty good husband. And I want to try to be a good husband to her, good friend to my friends, good worker among workers, and an employee of all of my subscribers who pony up a paid subscription to Harrowings. You are my board of directors. And all of you free subscribers are also my employers. I hope you'll amplify my signal through the noise. Get other people to tune in. That'd be really helpful. So we've had Ed Box, The Bold Insight, Tom Lane, Michael Sherrick, Lori Whitfield. She's curious where I am. I am at the intersection of looking for Biltmore and Calvert Street, Northwest in Washington, D.C. Walking along out of Adams Morgan over towards my neck of the woods. The area right I'm going into would be called Woodley Park. And I'm going to cross the Rock Creek to get there. Left foot in front of right foot. Thank you for asking. I don't know, hopefully you're still here to actually get the answer. Robert Blake has joined at Box, may mentioned. Tom Lane, Michael Sherrick, Lori Woodville, Fly Philly. Lori Woodville, there you are. Adam Lee Pond, Justina Dohina, and the Art of Being, Kat. K-A-T. Got a bus advertisement here that treatment works, recovery is possible. I can attest to that. Got a helicopter going over, so it's going to be hard to hear. That's like a heavy. It's just a police helicopter, a regular one. Leaves falling on me off this tree. Resilience and resistance, seeking freedom. This is the Duke Ellington Memorial Bridge. The Duke passed away in 1974, just over 75 years old. Left behind a corpus of work. It's quite astonishing, really. Out there right now, we have a jet going up out of National. That's common. I like to watch them fly. I like to think of the people on board, where they're going, what they're doing. May all their missions be successful. They're on business trips, if they're on errands of mercy or just visiting friends, vacationing or coming home. Sure, there are all kinds of stories on that one airplane. All at risk, as they go down, but not as risky as being on the roads down here. Maybe even just walking across this bridge. The bridge is in pretty good shape. You can see the traffic down below, the Rock Creek over there, looking up towards the National Zoo. And this is just fun for me to take you all along my walks, my talks, and my speculations about the world I'm seeing and how we might be able to do better, do more, or do anything, or just do, or just be. So for a second or two, we'll stop and just be with this fly. That fly, that little life. It's very brief. Our own lives are very brief compared to these trees. Some of those trees might be longer lived than others. Looks like some have been overwhelmed by vines. That's something that people get involved in. Trying to control things is something most of us are involved in at some level or another. Not sure how much control I'm exerting, but when I do speak, I probably am thinking that, no, I'm thinking that the words I form might have some resonance of somebody else. It might inspire them to action. And if there's one thing I'm trying to do, it's that I'd like to inspire others to act, if not on my behalf, on their own behalf, on the behalf of their descendants. But think in terms of 1,000 generations from now. Think about that, 1,000,000 generations from now. There's 1,000,000 generations back of all of us. When you go back that far, even 1,000 generations, you're descended from about as many people as existed. So you're very closely related in your species. We're also very dependent on other species for our continuation as the top of the food chain here. Of course, there's all those very willing recyclers we carry around within us and without us who would easily convert us into something other than ourselves. And I'm smiling when I think about that because I think that's somehow refreshing. I think yeah, I can get across here. DC law says they have to stop for me. Kind of love that. They have to. They don't get to choose it. They just stop and wait. Thank you. I stop back up. Move along. Nothing to see here. Much. Of course, this is Shatner's world. We just live in it. What is he advertising now? Boldly go. Exploring. PassItOn.com, the foundation for a better life. There you go. PassItOn.com. I do try to pass it on wherever I'm able. On the other side of the bridge, we passed a bus stop thingy about recovery is possible, recovery from addictions of all sorts, and we're all addicted to something. Also, we'll be talking probably more about it this evening, but certainly tomorrow evening, 988 Suicide Crisis Lifeline. Call, text, chat 24/7, 988 Suicide Crisis. If you are in that boat, in that boat, there is a way out, and you're not alone. Fact. Get back to nature. There's one possible solution. Get in touch with ground. Touch it and know that source that life, like they're seeing out there in the woods, is the same as your life. The life of the person in an ambulance that I hear down below, trying to get through. It's back of the Omni Shore Motel at the sheer Rock Creek Parkway. Definitely a siren going down one end of it. Seems like it might be heading down to Sibley, George Washington Hospital, or Georgetown Hospital. There's so many hospitals it could be going to. That direction, Sibley is my most likely destination for that ambulance. Another jet going by. Hope everybody on board is hale and hearty. It's a nice day to be out. It's a little overcast, but it's another day in the bonus round, I'd like to say. It's Rock Creek down below. It's flowing ever onward. And of course, the traffic on the Shaft Bridge, in the D70, DCY. That license plate indicates Chinese embassy staff. It's like a Virginia plate. Not mistaken. I heard a hawk. It's more out there. She's so well through my glasses. Up cleaned. I'm going to set you down at an angle down the slope. Looking at the concrete. Looking back over momentarily. Duke Ellington Bridge. Here we have with it. Natasha Williams has joined. Barbara Blake, it's very clean where you live. No litter anywhere. Oh, pick it up. Thanks for noticing, Robert. To do what we can to keep the capital city of the United States of America clean. It's not that clean. I'm glad it doesn't look like trash in it. Oh boy. What time is it? Oh, I got a clock. 2:24. So about another hour and change before I have to go pick up Len from work at the National Press Club building where she works as the HR director at Theodore Roosevelt Conservation Partnership. They are a nonprofit. You could contribute to them and they help protect hunting and fishing rights around the country. So if you're into hunting and fishing, Theodore Roosevelt Conservation Partnership are your advocates here in DC, across the country. Not many of them, They're dedicated. They're doing what they can to help all y'all who like fishing and hunting. Now, one of the things we have a problem with is red lanternflies. See that guy? It's an invasive species. Go away. Just set him off. But those things are suckers, and they do not belong in this neighborhood. They're in this continent. Asian natives. We need to do something about them. So he went up to one of our flowering trees down there, and you see what kind of tree that is. Another one over here. If I get closer, I might be able to discern what sort of tree it is. Paper mulberry, maybe? No. Where's chestnut, maybe? I'm not sure. So it looks castagna-like. Have some trees of heaven. Those are a favorite of the red lantern fly. I smushed a bunch of them yesterday or day before. I was on my way back to Sweet Green salads, and I saw a whole mess of them near Seta Asteria on Connecticut Avenue. You're supposed to report them when you see them. There's another. Oh, sucker. See that? That is an Asian red lantern fly. I'm going to smush him because I don't like to get them on my hands. So I'm not being the change I ought to see. Here's a couple more. Bastards. Okay? Two of them. I should bring a fly swatter with me. I could just swat and eliminate the adult forms. But, the problem is, of course, they've already propagated and they're spreading like all over this. I guess they don't have a natural predator. Or if they do, they haven't clued into them yet. So it tend to impact environment. We don't want that. There's another. Somebody sniffs that one. There's another. So yeah, we got quite an infestation going of the red lantern flies. And I presume that our conservation specialists know about it. Okay, what else do I want to talk about? Besides invasive species. Besides all the folks over there behind that old facade, it's new construction. I think I just got flown onto by one of those daggone flies. But anyway, that building there is, I understand it's the home of the Chinese embassy staff. Pretty impressive construction. I think it was paid for by the Chinese government to house their embassy staff. I'm also here. So many individual lives played out across this canvas, if you want to look at it that way. We're all temporary. Have a certain number of days. What is it, 1,400 weeks, supposedly? In a lifetime? I forget exactly the details. You know what? I think I'm going to loop you through my back of my neighborhood rather than going straight down. Whew. It's good to walk. It's good to talk. Good to have that ability. to share our experiences together. That's what harrowing is all about, really. The harrowing experience of being alive, harrowing the field of imagination for creative work, getting myself geared up for this second year of freedom. I was given my freedom August 2nd last year. And now I am perfectly happy. And I was pretty happy then, too. Stubborn.
Yes.
But beautiful. Yes, you are. Ah, nice accent. There's Ukraine House. It's a sliding board over there that exhibits the effects of shell fragments. That is not nice. Then we got the embassies of the Portuguese ambassador, um, residents of the Portuguese ambassador, I should say, flying Ukrainian flags next to the front steps, show their solidarity with the Ukraine and the people. Something to think about today, in particular, as the envoy has gone to negotiate a ceasefire. Hope successfully. So I'll be with them in spirit, because it's about time they stop that nonsense of killing each other and negotiate some sort of settlement. Of course, the Russians do not want to settle for anything less than what they want. Otherwise, they wouldn't have invaded in the first place, sacrificed 1 million men, women, more on both sides. So let's take a look at the French ambassador's residence. You'd think it was made special for the French ambassador, but it wasn't. It was made by a fellow who had made his fortune in coal, as I understand it. Forgotten where I got that information, but it's probably good. Look at that. Ukrainian colors draped around the Statue of Liberty in solidarity. And across the way, a Thai government owns that building, educational center. I think the Mexican ambassador lives across the street. I'd heard the British ambassador lived down here, but I don't think it is. I think it's somebody else, but he's got a British flag out front anyway. I'm going to walk down Colorama because I can. It's my neighborhood. I belong here. Strangely, I didn't expect to live in Sheridan, Colorama Historic District when I started out. I didn't know that's the way things would end up, and the way they ended up. It's kind of bizarre. 2010, my wife was about 1.5 years into her recovery from a brainstem stroke, and we looked at this place because it was across from where she worked as a possibility. We could move there in time, and we moved on it. We decided not to sell our townhouse up in Burtonsville, Maryland right away. We just bought this one, added it to what we were already doing. Lo and behold, here we are. You know, living full time in Sheridan, Colorado, alongside people like the Obamas and the Bezoses. Mrs. Bezos has not invited me over for a housewarming now that she just got married, but I guess maybe it's time to invite the neighbors over. You think? That'd be nice. I haven't heard it. If she has. It's weird. Of course, I'm nobody in particular. Just somebody who walks along and films the passing show. It's on the backside of the Colorama Circle. There's a blocked off section where Secret Service are always on patrol because the Obama residence is back there on Belmont Avenue, in Colorama. I walked down past the house that had a bad fire recently. Oh, have they changed out the firebox yet? They're doing conservation on it. Okay. There should be a notice there about this house down the way, which is the oldest house in D.C., but it wasn't built here. It's moved here in the 1930s from like 6 rail cars from up in Massachusetts. But that's it there with that widow's walk on top. Balustrade. Whole thing shipped down here. I think the chimneys might have been actually built here. I don't know. But the facade, framing, all came from Massachusetts on rail cars in the 1930s, as I remember reading. And correct me if I'm wrong, you can back check me on that. There it is. It's a good view of it. Stately place. Or these. Look at that entrance there. Yeah. Unbelievable. That's a bus there at the window. There are things that remembering from my grandparents' place many, many years ago. I needed to divest myself of a lot of these things. Because anything and everything can be taken from one in an instant. One just has to forget to put out a candle or something and then have the whole place go up in flames. I did put out the candles before I left the house, by the way. Made sure of that. And quite a walk, quite an expedition. Not sure exactly how I'm going to go from here. And there's the poor house that was burned. Look at that roof. Pretty much destroyed. Yeah. I don't know if they did it for the insurance or sure it's an active investigation ongoing, or if it's just really bad luck. That practically melted the copper gutters. Smashed out the leading, the windows. Bug got me on the back just now, too. Darn it. These things happen. Bugs gotta eat, too. That's what they used to tell me when I was a fifer in the Fife and Drum Corps in Williamsburg. And bugs get on you. All right. Coming up on Tracy Place, Wyoming Avenue. It's debatable which way I want to go now. I think I might take a turn down this way. Looks like they've recently removed a large tree. Planted a little thing next to it. Let's see what's going on there. Yeah, a big tree came down. A small evergreen growing up next to it. Well, this is Tracy Place. We can walk up Tracy Place. Embassy of Guyana. A range of different places around here. Have to interesting architecture. I'm not sure which one of these was the home of Rex Tillerson when he was Secretary of State in the first Trump administration. Briefly, he occupied one of these homes. Might have been this one. I don't know. I don't really care. It's got a turbo Porsche. Older one. Gotta wonder what people do for those toys. I'm sure they don't come cheap. In any way, shape, or form. I have to make choices, and I made mine. I could have made other choices. Could have been somewhere else, doing other things. But what I'm doing now, I feel is wanted to do all along. Taking the passing show. Provide primary documentation for historians of the future. No raw journalism. A little philosophical reflection on my own life and the lives of others. And the freedom that one has and the price one pays for one's freedom. I could have gone into the military, for instance, and a lot of my friends did, and I want to honor their service. Gabonese Republic's residence is here. The Gabonese ambassador looks like he isn't keeping it up very well. But you know, who am I to judge? What do I want to say about that? Military service. My friends, a lot of them went in, out of college, just officers, or just straight out of high school, and served. In Gulf War I, for the most part. My friend Mike Yankovic, I recently discovered is the brother-in-law of Bruce Hornsby, a famous artist. Yeah, he's flying FA-18s off of the Midway, a 1945 commissioned aircraft carrier out in the Pacific. He's flying that during the Gulf War, and I guess they pulled it in closer and had him launching attacks on Iraq from the deck of the Midway, while one of his best friends, and my best friends too, my Fife section leader of 1981, and the Colonial Williamsburg Fife and Drum Corps was flying Harrier 2s from the Marines and trucking bombs for the Republican Guards. And my friend Greg, who was our bass drum section leader for class of 81, was commanding a team, a howitzer for the Marines. This is on the ground, exposed to the terrible fires that erupted from the Kuwaiti oil wells. Still played a main bagpipe, though, Greg did. Flowers, the Forest was played for our fallen, the 55th anniversary of the Colonial Williamsburg Fife and Drum Corps in 2013 by Greg. Got a photograph of that anyway. I don't think I have a recording, but somebody probably does. I dare say it wouldn't have happened, except that I managed to connect him. He ran for vice president of our alumni group. Greg did. Lost to Bryce Williams. Now is president, apparently for life. Not really my business. Sort of step back from all that. besides playing when I'm called upon to do so, because Pfeiffer's Fife. Other than that, our opinions we can keep to ourselves. I mean, best always. Anyway, what else do I want to tell you about? Well, Greg, David, Mike, Zach. Zach was a helicopter pilot for the Army, as I recall. Others from my Colonial Williamsburg days ended up doing different things. Friend Robin Phillips was a lieutenant colonel in the Army, as I recall. I don't think she made colonel, but retired. And did a lot of service around the world. She had been shepherdess in Colonial Williamsburg when I knew her best. And hasn't changed a lot. She attended my father's funeral on April 12th, 2024. Thank you for that. For all who were there. A lot of construction going on. A lot of resurfacing of the sidewalks, it looks like here. Should I go up or down? Up, I think. Pulling up. There's not a rock there. My wife likes the entrances of these buildings. DQW. I guess those are the Poles. Because the Polish military attaché is right through this hedge. And over there, the embassy of Zambia. Coming back up into view is French ambassador's residence, Kalorama, but we're going to loop this time past the place. Please ring the bell. It's the office of the defense attaché of the Polish embassy. And across the street, former home of William Howard Taft when he was Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Post-presidency, Wilson lived on S Street, Taft up here. Pre-presidency, Hoover lived on S Street as well. What's now the Embassy of Myanmar. Go figure. Things change. It's DCC. What embassy that is. I don't see it. Oh, well. Doesn't matter. None of my business, really. You can look it up on a map. Coming up on the Alliance Française. If you'd like to learn French, it's a place to do it. Having a slight transient numbness around the face. That happens. Gotta be careful in my circulatory system. Make sure I don't have a stroke or something. My wife had one, as I may have talked about already in the course of the passing show. That happened 2009. Yeah, I was talking about having bought the house in 2010. And the fact that we did that because she had had a stroke and wasn't particularly enjoying the commute down from Maryland to her office, where she had been forced back to work by our company. And she wasn't really all that recovered. She eventually would recover sufficiently to be the director of human resources that she is today. That company itself imploded over some malfeasance in Pakistan and Afghanistan. They didn't report in a timely manner, and USAID made an example of them, cut their funding, which was 80% of what kept them alive. And Lynn was cut with the first 20% of the company to go, because you always cut the disabled girl first.
Okay. Okay.
Macedonia.
I have. Oh, wait. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Academy for Educational Development came crashing down eventually. FHI 360 picked up its bones, carried on, and they're gone too now from that facility, which will be converted into residences. Apparently, nothing is stable. Nothing here. If it looks permanent, it's not. In fact, just about everybody who was involved in the construction of this building, for instance, are all gone. And that's something that is true of all of us, I guess. We will be gone eventually. We're here now. We have an opportunity to play through creation. Don't get up, gentlemen. I'm just passing through, or only passing through is the correct line. Quoting Bob Dylan's Things Have Changed, for which he won an Oscar. Look at that place. Pretty, isn't it? And I'm at Wyoming and Connecticut Avenue Northwest. For anyone curious, it's like, who's here? Sam's joined, Ashley Schmidt, Wayne Exton, Gnostic Awakening. Hey, Natasha Williams. Very clean where you are, yes. I've seen all the comments that have been made so far. If you have any comments to make, please do. It's right behind me. I didn't see him. Cut down a couple of trees here of some size. Probably blew over one of our storms. I think this is the embassy of the Mission of Paraguay to the Organization of American States. Across the way, there's Embassy of Malta. Russians have that building over there. We can see the rooftop of it through the bus. This place is being rehabbed, it looks like. Warning signs in it. 2000. Connecticut Avenue. Yeah, that place was Russian. I don't know if it's flying flags now or not. No, that doesn't appear to be. So they must have taken, or they've abandoned it for the moment. Mothballed it, perhaps. There's the Churchill. Churchill Hotel. Monument to McClellan. So I wanted to turn onto this street. It's hard to navigate. You see the Washington Monument coming over the horizon. That's what we used to call the Hinckley Hilton. I guess we still do, because I just did. Where John Hinckley shot Reagan in 1981, and I was a senior in high school. Served his time in St. Elizabeth's and was released eventually to the neighborhood I grew up in, Kings Mill on the James. Williamsburg, Virginia is where Hinckley ended up. I don't know where he is now. Probably could look that up. It's probably a matter of record. Yes, the government has to know where he is after he tried to assassinate Reagan. Reagan's long gone. It's almost gone then. Have a very different world, I'm sure. If George Herbert Walker Bush had come to power more expediently than he did. I've been documenting the construction going on in my neighborhood as I pass by. So they're packing some earth there. Let's put some nice new pipes in, maybe. Arts at Art 4, Pound Circle Business Improvement District, EID.org. This is the King William fully furnished luxury studios and one bedrooms available. Flexible leases, revitalized interiors. It's like a very old fine, beautiful building, huh? Across the way, Washington Sports Club Center was there. Soho Cafe Market. Used to be an office depot. All that's gone. We go to Beppo, where I had my rehearsal dinner for my wedding. Universal South. My wife's offices were actually upstairs. And looked down onto this northwest side of DC, from 3 windows down and 3 over from the facade that's going to come into view as we get to Bancroft or so. Or by St. Margaret's Episcopal Church. They have a nice little thing for the homeless every morning, I think, most mornings. Hydrangeas. Yeah, there's the facade is coming into view over the Walgreens drugstore. One thing left in that building. Everything else is moved out. The plan is to just convert it into residence at some point. 3 windows down, 3 over. And that facade was just come into view there. That was Lynn's office. Should have been 11 and a half years in employment there. Both those good sized windows to look out of over. And she was the assistant director, associate director, of human resources for training. Responsible for training 4,000 employees. Thought she'd retire from that. Didn't end up being the case. Thanks to the executives not reporting out on some issues they ran into in Pakistan and Afghanistan with some of their funding. Some malfeasance. Thought that there wasn't a lot of that. But they decided they had to make a counting, and in 2011 pulled the funding, which kind of caused the whole company to go crashing down just after we bought our place right here across the street. Then got a job with the Air Force, and another, after 5 years, got another HR directorship, and continues in that role for a different company, but same role. There we're back to the bunker. So if you've come out, I stepped off from here, started narrating this, you come full circle through Adams, Morgan, across the Taft Bridge back into Sheridan, Colorado, and on it goes. Gonna end there. Thanks for joining.